James Weaver and Butch Leitzinger have come to Ohio off a sweep of pole position and the race win at Grand Am Round 4 in Connecticut. Weaver has been on a roll, winning 4 out of 5 Grand Am poles this year. Can the duo team up again to sweep pole and the race today? It's the U.S. Road Racing Classic, next on Speed Vision. Beautiful Mid-Ohio sports car course is the site of the U.S. Road Racing Classic, Round 5 in the inaugural season for the Grand American Road Racing Championship. Hello, everyone. I'm Bob Barsha, along with Dorsey Schroeder. We had some great stories in a very competitive qualifying session. One story including that car, the GTO class leading Saleen Mustang. But no change up front. Calvin Fish is standing by with our Informix Way Fast Award winner.
Well, if there is a dominant driver in the sports racer category at the moment, it's James Weaver. He leads the points. He's had 4 poles out of 5 with the one included here today. And he also comes fresh off a victory at Lime Rock Park with his teammate Butch Leitzinger. But James, in qualifying, it was an old teammate of yours who nearly pulled a surprise on you.
I know, it's a bit rude of him because he keeps his kit in Dyson's truck and Scott Schubot asked him to drive his car. And before we know it, he's trying to grab pole from us.
It's going to be Andy Wallace who starts alongside James on the front row. No surprise to see James on the pole here today, but there was a real surprise in GTO. And with that story, let's go down to John Bisignano.
McCann Racing and Tommy Archer have definitely arrived in Grand American Racing. In the GTO class, they just secured pole position by a huge 0.8 of a second. Tommy, congratulations on a great pole. Tell us about the effort that got you here.
Well, thank you, and it's been a great effort by the McCann brothers and McCann Plastic Company and Julian Randalls with JP Motorsports. They put together a great car, called me up. Can you help me out? I said, sure I can, and here we are on the pole with a great car. Dodge Viper's always fast, though.
How many races are you going to be able to make?
As many as we can, as many as we can.
For the other pole award winners, let's go back up to the booth.
Thank you, John. In the Sports Racer Lights class for the smaller open cockpit cars, Larry Oberto picks up the 3rd straight for the number 22 Nissan Lola. Mike Fitzgerald has his Porsche on pole in the GTU class, and Bruce Nesbitt picks up the 2nd straight for his Ford Mustang in American GT. Now, there is one very quick car that will be starting at mid-pack. With more on that story, once again, here's Calvin Fish.
One of the fastest cars in the field today promises to be the Duran-Lister Special, but they had some problems in qualifying. Didier Tays, it hasn't been the smoothest of weekends for you guys.
No, in fact, yesterday after qualify, looking at our data, the engine, we prefer for safety to put a new one for the race, and the rule says when you change the engine after qualify, you can re-qualify on the 2nd day, but you're not going to be better than 21st because the top 20 cars are frozen on the first qualify.
Well, Didier Tays and Mauro Baldi are 2 of the hottest drivers on the track out there today, but talk about a man who's been on a roll. He stands by with John Bisignano.
Ron Johnson and Terry Borscheller in this beautiful Saleen SR have picked up 3 wins in the last 4 events, and I've been hearing them say GTO needs a little bit more competition. Well, Ron, you've got your wish. What are you going to do about it?
Well, we're going to go out there and we're going to run a good, solid race and just prove that we're in endurance racing and consistency is the key, and we're going to have the car going pretty strong the whole time. We got 2 good drivers. We got a great crew, great sponsors and everything, and we're going to go out there and just give them hell.
This is going to be one great battle, guys.
I think you've got that right, John. Dorsey, this looks like a much better fight in GTO with the arrival of the Archer McCann Viper.
Yeah, it'll be a good fight. And the little cars, the GTU cars all mixed in with them. They're really going to slug it out today.
We'll have 5 classes of cars on track, 41 in all, and the green flag is coming up. Join us again in a moment from Mid-Ohio.
A new American motorcycle has earned its place among bikers. Victory, named Best Cruiser and Cruiser of the Year by 2 top motorcycling magazines.
Dodge, different. Big savings, just about. Big savings, almost everything. Not a perfect world. Cash allowance, up to 2,000. Magnum power, up to 2,000. Caravan, 1,000 cash allowance, almost every car, almost everything. Not a perfect world, limited time. Dodge savings. Don't wait. Dodge different. Dodge different. Dodge different.
The longest hitting streak in the majors?
DiMaggio.
Thanks. You know, the winner of this Hooters Master the Mound trivia contest gets to go to Coors Field. Who won the Cy Young Award in 1981?
Raleigh Fingers.
Hey, Raleigh, can you fill my ball for me, please?
Absolutely.
It's for my dad. Anything else?
Yeah, send in a relief pitcher.
Come to Hooters and master the mound to win a trip to Coors Field with Raleigh Fingers.
Grand American Road Racing from Mid-Ohio is being brought to you by BMW, the ultimate driving machine. And by Informix Software, your new way to web. Welcome back to Central Ohio and one of America's greatest road racing facilities, Mid-Ohio Sports Car Course. As the drivers are now being strapped into their cars, there's Elliott Forbes Robinson, who will start in one of Rob Dyson's beautiful Lincoln-powered Riley and Scott chassis. And now it's time for the command that will fire the engines and send us on our way.
Ladies and gentlemen, start your engines.
Up and down the pit lane, the engines come to life. Time for a last-minute tap on the top of the driver's helmet and a handshake there from the Dyson crew to Elliott Forbes Robinson. One of the neat things about endurance racing is the wide variety of chassis and engine combinations. We have 41 cars representing virtually every facet of the automotive industry, as well as race car engineering. Garcia, I know you've got a lot of seat time here at Mid-Ohio. Tell us about it.
Well, 13 corners, 2¼ miles, and it's a good mix, Bob, of a long, fast straightaway. But back there in the back, the S's and so forth, David Hobbs calls that the twisty bits, and you better have a good handling car to be back there.
There's also lots of elevation changes, which means some of these corners will be blind to the drivers. And with a field of 41 and lots of speed differentials between the different classes, you better be careful. On board with the Judd, Riley, and Scott, Jack Baldwin at the keyboard. Take us around, Dorsey.
Well, here we are, actually, in the twisty bits right now. Take a look at all the pavement changes. It's very hard to set up a car. Here's an off-camber corner. Watch as we climb this little hill. It's a quick left-hander, flat out. Car gets almost airborne right here. Hear the motor squeal as it goes up in the air. Now, this corner, big jump. Again, it'll lift the front wheels off the ground, and you're going to head up this very, very fast twisty bit. This left-hander here is a source of many, many an accident. This is the carousel, they call that, and it comes around and onto the pit straightaway where they'll get the checkered flag, but not the green flag.
Now here's a look at our Informix starting lineup. On the pole, James Weaver and his Ford-powered Riley and Scott alongside his former teammate Andy Wallace, row 2. Jack Baldwin, his team won at Phoenix in round 2. Back on row number 3, Mimo Schiattarella brings some Formula One experience to that Ferrari 333 SP. As you take a look down the rest of the starting grid, as I mentioned, 41 cars, Sports Racer and Sports Racer 2, the two open cockpit prototype classes, if you will, and then the production-based machinery, the heavy metal GTO class, the smaller displacement engines in GTU, and then the tube-frame American-powered AGT, or American GT classes, basically an SCCA Trans Am car running here in the Grand American Road Racing Series. Tremendous variety, as I mentioned, up and down the field. Now we are almost ready for the green flag, so let's get final thoughts now from our pit reporters, Calvin Fish and John Bizignano. Cal, you first.
Fuel mileage in the sports racer category today may well be an issue. Both the number 27 Lister machine and the number 74 Informix car running the Judd-powered entries. What those cars do, they get much better fuel mileage than the Dyson Racing Fords. So they'll be able to make a stop under yellow if we get one between the laps 20 and 30, and then only have to make one more stop under green flag racing. Whereas the Dyson cars, they'll probably stay out if we get an early caution, because it will not put them in their fuel window today.
Every driver I've talked to has mentioned one thing: traffic. A big problem here with some 40 cars on the track. in 2.2 miles, mostly a turny, twisty 2.2 miles. They all said it's going to take one thing to come home victorious and safe. That's patience.
All right, thank you, gentlemen. On board with Jack Baldwin and the Informix Robinson Racing Judd-powered Riley and Scott, one of those cars that Calvin Fish mentioned. The biggest field we've seen in Grand American Racing since the season opening Rolex 24 Hours at Daytona International Speedway. We'll be back to Daytona in midsummer for the revival of the Paul Revere 250 here on Speed Vision. Right now, the field is set. Coming around to take the green flag on the back straightaway, James Weaver to the left of your screen, and Andy Wallace in the blue and yellow machine to his left. Up to speed they come. The green is out. We're underway. A tight uphill right-hander coming up.
Look at Andy tuck in behind. That's a smart move to defend the inside because it's really getting in the twisty parts here. Oh, he just had two cars just bumped right there, as a matter of fact.
It was one of the Interscope cars having to get out of it and back off as Jack Baldwin slots into third place. You're running behind our pole sitter, James Weaver, and his former teammate, Andy Wallace. Got to look at Didier Taze in that red, white, and blue Judd-powered Ferrari chassis, the Doran Special, also known as the Bud. He started 21st after the top 20 positions on the grid were locked in first day qualifying. Didier Taze, the vastly experienced Belgium, has that car coming forward.
He won't stay back there long with all the horsepower of that Judd next year. You see him again. He's just slicing his way through right now.
Back to the front of the field as they pass under the bridge and into turn one. Completing lap one here at the Mid-Ohio Sports Car Course. 3 hours of racing coming up. We'll take a break and return with more of the U.S. Road Racing Classic. Don't go away.
Grand American Road Racing. Sports car racing at some of the most storied road courses and racetracks in North America. On June 28th, Grand American Road Racing will bring the tradition, prestige, and style of sports car racing to Daytona International Speedway. This week, enjoy a lifestyle like no other. Call Daytona International Speedway at 904-253-RACE for ticket information.
Ice Sport, the scent of exhilaration from Aquavelva. Also in skin conditioning gel with aloe and vitamin E for sensitive skin.
It didn't have to end like this. Armor All Protectant. Armor All Car Wax. It's not just shine, it's Armor All.
Next weekend, all roads lead to Speed Vision with the GT and Touring Car Championships from Lime Rock as Vipers, Vets, Audis, and BMWs race for the title.
Yellow Corvette just came through and just whacked me up the backside.
Then run with the boys of summer with World Superbike Racing from Spain. See what the #2 bikes are made of. See if the Texas Tornado can keep Team Honda out front. And watch Kenny Roberts in the Grand Prix from Holland rip it up with the movie star Suzuki. That's Speed Vision GT and Touring Saturday at 8, World Superbike Sunday at 8, and GT 500 at 10.
Welcome back to the Mid-Ohio Sports Car Course and the U.S. Road Racing Classic. Bob Barsha, Dorsey Schroeder, John Bizignano, and Calvin Fish with you on a beautiful day in Central Ohio. Great crowd on hand for round 5 of the Grand American Road Racing Series. No change up front. James Weaver leads Andy Wallace and Jack Baldwin. Here's the battle for 4th. Number 37, Ford-powered Lola from Intersport Racing for John Field, qualified 6th, now running 4th, and just behind him is Elliott Forbes Robinson in the Lincoln, Riley, and Scott for Dyson Racing.
So John Field is very aggressive at the start of these races, so he's moved up 2 positions. Doesn't surprise me. He really drives hard at the beginning of each of these sessions.
John Field, this is very much a home race for him. He lives in Dublin, Ohio, not far away from the Mid-Ohio Sports Car Course in Lexington. There's Mimos Giattarella, qualified 5th in the number 12 bright red Ferrari 333 SP. He has dropped back a position. question, I guess, Dorsey, is whether that Ferrari, whoa, lightened up the left rear as John Field. You said he was aggressive.
Boy, that's not good. That was indeed the left rear, and that's real lucky he didn't get turned around on that. I think that could be a problem for him further up the road here.
Here's that brand spanking new Dodge Viper right on the heels of the GTO Saleen Mustang that has dominated that class of Grand American racing. But it looks like here at Mid-Ohio, Tommy Archer and that new Viper may have the measure of the Ford product.
So Terry Borscheller has gotten around Archer somewhere at the beginning of this race, or at least Tommy's right there behind him right now, and that could be something dealing with tire issues right now, too.
Hopefully we'll watch that battle in the GTO class all day long as they come down the high-speed backstretch, slight right-hand kink, and then hard on the brakes.
I like these cars, Bob. These are real factory hot rods here you're looking at. A lot of horsepower, not a lot of tire.
That Mustang, by the way, the number 5 car in black and white, had an absolutely tortured weekend of the most recent round of the Grand Am at Lime Rock. They managed to take pole and win their class, but along the way, they had a sticking throttle, not something that you might want on a 1.5-mile loop like Lime Rock. Then the car caught fire, and finally, the car suffered an accident that completely rearranged the front end before Ron Johnson and teammate Terry Borscheller were able to bring it home to victory lane. Big V8 in the Ford.
Of course, an even bigger V10 in the Viper. 7 liters at that.
Of course, we all know what that Daimler Chrysler Viper product has been able to do in sports car racing in the hands of the French Orca team. And right now, down the inside goes Tommy Archer to take over the lead in the GTO class from Terry Borscheller on a track that Archer knows well. First raced here at Mid-Ohio in 1981 and took pole, did Tommy. So he knows the twists and turns of the Mid-Ohio hills.
I think that took Terry totally by surprise. Under the bridge there, turn 1 is not a place that you normally would get past. And he made that decisive. He just stuck the Viper in there hard.
As you see, 15th overall, but I'll make you a promise that they are going to move up. They won't be 15th. The GTO class leaders, whether it's the Viper or perhaps the Mustang or some other member of the class before this one is over. These cars are quick.
Well, look at that. He just stuffs it right down the inside. There's not hardly room for 2 cars right there. There's a curb to the inside that you have to miss. So that was a very gutsy move.
And some very good race driving from both men. Around one of the slower GTU cars. And, oh, he got a car stopped on the start-finish straightaway.
John Field's car, the 37. He's pulled it off to the side, so he must have mechanical problems.
That was the Lola we saw being driven so aggressively by Field just a few minutes ago. He's in the car gesturing at officials at the trackside wall. Perhaps he'll be able to get it restarted. But working traffic, Tommy Archer in the McCann Plastics Dodge Viper. Oh, there goes Field. He got it running.
Yeah, whatever broke. I guess he could have been electrical or something. Well, he's pulling back in. Well, that's the pit out right there. He's just right. He knows he's slow. He's getting out of everybody's way.
Now he's going to have to try to make it all the way around the track, and it looks like he's got some pretty good speed.
Yeah, he got out of there all right. I think he just moved over to make sure that he was clear of anybody behind him.
So it'll be a 2-mile run to the pits if, in fact, John Field needs to pit that car, but he's losing all kinds of track position. As we go to the race leader, working track on his own, this is James Weaver. See if we can get a look at where Andy Wallace might be. Now, there he is, 2 cars back. Was that Wallace?
It's hard to say if that was Wallace or not. He's opened up quite a bit of a lead there, James has, which surprised me. Andy will, you know, they're real good friends, those 2 guys, so they want to mix it up a little bit.
Great friends, former teammates. As you heard James say at the top of the show, Andy Wallace keeps his gear or his kit in the Dyson trailer. As you say, John Field.
He's off again somewhere. Yep. Now, this time he's out in the grass, so he's pulled off the racetrack. Maybe his day is done now.
Tough break for the Dublin, Ohio driver. You can see the aerodynamic treatment, a radical-looking profile on that car. And he's not alone out there. There's the number 48 GTO Chevy Corvette for James Moyer and David Barnard. We've got a yellow flag, full course caution, our first of the day here at Mid-Ohio. So the cars will pull in behind the safety car, and all that hard work James Weaver did to get away from Andy Wallace is for naught. There's a look from onboard Jack Baldwin's machine. We'll take a break and return with more coverage of round 5 of the Grand Am season. Stay with us.
This is your car, your truck, your multi-purpose transportational type vehicle. It gets you to work, to here and there, and home in time for dinner. You use it, abuse it, and use it some more. Just one question. What have you done for it lately?
Oh, sure, you change the oil.
Every 15,000 miles.
You should be ashamed of yourself.
You need to be nice to your vehicle. You need to buy it some energy release.
That's ER for short. Just one bottle treats your entire vehicle. What does this mean? It means the engine, transmission, differential, power steering.
Put it in your riding mower. What are you looking at?
Energy release is not your typical additive because it's not a lubricant. It's better. It's a pure concentrate that works with the oil and grease type stuff you already got.
Whoa! How does it work? Spend a week with these guys. They'll tell you.
Bottom line, ER makes smoother metal, which means less heat, less friction, your vehicle runs better and lasts longer. Means you save money. Bet that got your attention.
Come on. Just get the real stuff. Energy release.
It's your umbrella. A great escape. Your concert hall. It's your car. Keep it going longer with Midas. New expanded services, more genuine Midas parts, a nationwide lifetime guarantee. Even if the part wears out, we're more than mufflers. We're a new way to keep a good thing going. Go Midas.
Chevy Blazer. A little security in an insecure world. Blazer, like a rock.
Tomorrow night, get the review on the Pocono 500. Then it's highlights of the Rally Argentina and an encore presentation of the Canadian Grand Prix. That's NASCAR Inside Winfrey Cup Racing at 7 Eastern, FIA World Rally Championships at 8, and the Canadian Grand Prix at 8:30.
Welcome back. Still early in round 5 of the Grand American Road Racing Championship. We are under caution. We've got a quick pit stop here for the Ferrari. Down to Calvin Fish.
The number 12, Risi Competizione Ferrari, comes into his pit stall. Mimo Schiadarella behind the wheel. They're taking advantage of this yellow flag to just do a quick splash for fuel. He's going to be peeling out of here momentarily. No tire change. They're just topping up. Surprised that they're really giving up the track position. We expected the Duran car in shortly, but surprised that the 12 car has given up that valuable track position.
Well, Dorsey, you surprised to see the Ferrari in this early?
Yeah, I think that's awfully early, boy, but that Ferrari motor, wasn't that beautiful sound? Look, now he's held up at pit lane. Now they're going to let him go again. Yeah, I don't think they're far enough in that the fuel window would be open. Not that. We're only 15 or so laps into the race, so that's an awful early stop.
Well, they choose to go off sequence. Great driving lineup here. Mimo Schiadarella with Formula One and kart champ car experience, paired with Ralph Kelleners, young German with all sorts of sports car experience.
You see a bunch of modifications aerodynamically at the front of that Ferrari from where it came stock. That's a 333. And they're suffering some motor problems. They don't have quite the horsepower they need, but they've been working on aero. You see that in the front end of it.
Ferrari now well along in its design evolution. The car came into sports car racing about 8 years ago, if I'm not mistaken. A 4-liter Formula One derived V12 engine with 5 valves per cylinder.
Of course, these Judds we're talking about, they're also 4 liters. They're V10s and quite fuel efficient.
Let's check in now with the Sports Racer 2 class. Now in its 4th race of existence, there's the car that has dominated this class. Nissan Lola in the hands of Larry Oberto and Ryan Hampton. Let's take a closer look at this team. The entry list reads Archangel Motorsport Services for the number 22 car, but one only has to see the team in action to realize their success is not a result of divine intervention. The man in charge, Michael Johnson, represents a new, younger generation of racers, an alumnus of MTV's Real World show, as well as a veteran of European open-wheel racing.
When I first got there, I was way out of my league. I mean, I'd gone from spec racers to a really difficult Formula Renault championship. But by the second race, I was running in the top 10 and having a great time. And I mean, my experience over there taught me a lot about not only driving, but running competitive teams and really seeing all types of aspects that I never saw over here just doing amateur racing.
The drivers of the Nissan-powered Lola are Larry Oberto and Ryan Hampton. Sharp-eyed Speed Vision Marine viewers will put together that beef jerky sponsorship on the car and the name Oberto. Larry is a part of the Oberto beef jerky empire that has been so prominent in boat racing.
Yeah, we're a Northwest
Beef Jerky Company, and no boy Oberto did hydroplane racing for 15 years, and that kind of put us on the map. So I'm trying to get the company more and more into car racing. It's a great opportunity for the company and for me as a driver, so I look forward to the following years.
One reason why Oberto and company are looking forward to the next few years is their goal to move up to the featured sports racer class. Team manager Johnson found 2 young drivers that he knew from racing in the lower divisions and hopes to bring them along to the premier class of Grand Am competition.
The transition shouldn't be that much, and working on them is very similar between the two. So it shouldn't be. I think Mike's really wanting to go to the SR category within the next 2 years. I think he wants to run a 2-car program next year. Our long-term goals are, you know, just keep doing well. As long as I want to be the best in our class, whoever class we're going. And if we can move up to maybe the bigger SR cars, that might be good. 1 year at a time, though.
Well, good luck in the future to a good-looking young team. Now, here's another reason for our current yellow flag. That's Chris Gleason helping to push his BMW M3 out of harm's way. Meanwhile, down in the pit lane, John Bisognano has more on this yellow flag.
Intersport Racing, Banana Joe stopped with gearbox problem. John Field was battling for right in 4th and 5th place. Day's over for them.
Thanks, John. Tough break, and I think you can see it in the body language and the facial expressions of the crew. They thought they had a shot today. There is James Weaver, our pole sitter, looking for his 2nd straight sweep of pole and race victory. But we are a long way from that point. We continue under a full course caution. James Weaver in the Ford-powered Riley and Scott, Andy Wallace in the Ford-powered Lola chassis, and Jack Baldwin, not 3rd in line, but 3rd in the race in his Judd-powered Riley and Scott.
And look right behind him. It's Didier Tays, all the way up from 21st, is now in the 4th spot. He's even gotten by EFR.
Belgian is really humming. We have a little bit of overcast. That'll keep the track temperatures cool, and that's good news for the tires. Here's a look at the top 10. There's Tays in the number 4 spot, ahead of EFR, all sports racers and sports racer 2. The featured categories in Grand Am competition. As I said earlier, we'll see the GTO and GTU machines moving up before long.
Grand American Road Racing. Sports car racing at some of the most storied road courses and racetracks in North America. On June 28th, Grand American Road Racing will bring the tradition, prestige, and style of sports car racing to Daytona International Speedway. This week, enjoy a lifestyle like no other. Call Daytona International Speedway at 904-253-RACE for ticket information.
Once again, a Subaru has received the highest possible rating in recent crash tests. The Legacy has beaten every car tested in its class. But the real story is that with our full-time all-wheel driving system, Subaru can help you avoid accidents altogether. The added safety of full-time all-wheel drive, #1 in crash tests. No wonder the competition keeps beating their heads against a wall. Subaru, the beauty of all-wheel drive.
Shoulder pads, knee pads. Now there's a new pad to keep you in the game. Boom! Tough Actin Tinactin Sports Wipes. Get to those hard-to-reach places with the only leading brand that's so tough it prevents athlete's foot. Wipe out athlete's foot. New Tinactin Sports Wipes.
This month on OLN, circle the globe from the Amazon to the Arctic with wildlife adventures. And explore habitats hanging in the balance with the Cousteau Chronicles. Untamed Tuesdays, only on OLN.
Welcome back to the U.S. Road Racing Classic. Bob Barsha and Dorsey Schroeder with you. Round 5 of the Grand American Road Racing season, still under a caution flag. Several teams have taken the opportunity for pit stops. The number 37 Intersport Lola was brought in on a flatbed, not hauled to the pits behind a tow truck. There may be a continuing story there, and John Bisognano is all over it. As we ride with Jack Baldwin, Dorsey, I would guess at this point, everybody is ready to get racing again, and Baldwin gets sideways as the green flag comes out.
Boy, did you see him get on that throttle? The thing almost got out from underneath him there. Right on the front straightaway, that would have been a disaster, because think of all the cars behind him.
As we're going to break, I mentioned that high cloud cover keeps the track cool, so those tires are cold. That's what can happen when you get all that horsepower trying to get onto the pavement at the same time. Baldwin now fully in control, moving through traffic. There's James Weaver, who has led from pole. There's Andy Wallace in the Lola-Ford.
So check the mirrors there to see if his buddy's sneaking up the inside of him or not.
Mentioned earlier, these guys have a great relationship. Both men from England cut their racing teeth in single-seaters, open-wheeled cars. But they have been racing in America for quite a long time. Wallace with particular distinction in endurance racing. Winner at Daytona in the Rolex 24, a winner at Le Mans, a winner at Sebring. Good battle going on here now. This is for third. Jack Baldwin still getting the rear end squirrely in that Riley and Scott with the big Judd V10. And just behind him is the man we talked about earlier, Dorsey, Didier Taze in the Doran-Judd Ferrari.
Yeah, Didier coming from 21st is coming all the way up through there, and he looks to be the faster of those two cars right now. And it could be because of that looseness. We're seeing it right here. Jack having to really muscle this car.
Out of the corkscrew, onto the start-finish straight.
You see the difference in the two suspensions. He hit the curb there. So Didier got up on the curb. But watch the front end of the two cars, and the Ferrari is working quite well over the bumps, whereas it looks like the 74 car right there is really bumping around pretty bad.
This is the keyhole turn.
Listen to this engine, this V10. It's wonderful.
What kind of horsepower out of that Judd?
You know, nobody's talking horsepower, but you know it's over 600.
Down the backstretch they come. Meanwhile, John Bizignano has more on the story of the number 37 Lola. Biz, take it away.
John Field, you had a great battle going in that 4th and 5th place. Very competitive out there. What took you out?
We lost first and second gear. I pulled off the side. I was able to get in third and it restarted. I thought maybe we could limp around from third into 6th, but obviously a little piece of metal just locked the box up. Yeah, we're having a lot of fun with this racing, so
we're done for the day.
All right, thanks, John. Tough break for that team. In Ohio, not the kind of place you want to go around without a completely full gearbox. Here's a look at our Sports Racer 2 category class leader, Larry Oberto, and the Archangel team that we met earlier. Just ahead of him on the road there, that 00 Mustang is the leader in the American GT category. Bruce Nesbitt and Paul Jenkins in a Ford Mustang. As you can see, the open cockpit Sports Racer 2 car, even though it's less powerful than the big sports racers, still able to get around some of the AGT machinery.
A couple of AGT cars going at it pretty good there. I saw when the brakes were on the 00 right there, that a big hunk of rubber fell out, and that, oh man, he almost get in the wall there. Jeez. I just saw that. I thought he was a little wide there. A big piece of rubber came out of that car before, which means the track's starting to get a little bit dirty now.
We've got a great battle going on in AGT. That silver 09 car is the Spirit of Daytona Chevy Camaro. Craig Conway and Doug Goad. Here's another look at that close moment there for the Nesbitt car.
Boy, that battle was almost over. You don't want to wreck there. That's really fast.
You see the concrete comes right out to the edge of the track there. There's a good look at that car. Originally built by Jack Roush, who had so much success road racing Ford products in the late 80s and early 90s.
That's an old Tommy Kendall car, the GTO car. Now it's running a NASCAR motor as well. It's got a 358 cubic inch Ford in there, so it's got a lot of horsepower.
Over that hop on the backstretch at the far reaches of the racetrack. Front wheels coming off the ground, steering getting light. Then over this one and dipping down into the valley, heading for the corkscrew.
You saw it get light right there when you said that. He came over the top and the back end twitched out like it did when he almost got in the wall the lap before.
Takes a gentle foot on the throttle here at Mid-Ohio. Here comes the battle in GTO. As you take a look at that number 18, that's a GTU Porsche. That's Randy Pope's, the class leader in GTU. So all of our class leaders running close together, which I guess we might expect would happen on the 2.25 mile reaches of Mid-Ohio. Randy Pope sharing with one of only 2 female drivers in the field. Kimberly Hiskey from Monroe, Washington, is sharing the controls of that Porsche with Randy Popes. The other lady driver in the field, Jennifer Tuminelli from Tiburon, California, in a Porsche GT3R, the GTU class.
It's one of the funny things about Mid-Ohio is we saw that gang up of different class cars there. These GTU cars are actually going to be faster in the twisty bits in the back than that GT car that we saw before.
Racing continues here at Mid-Ohio. We'll be back in a moment. Don't go away.
Hey, did you cancel the paper?
You bet.
You stopped the mail?
Absolutely.
Did you remember to turn on the alarm?
Totally forgot.
ADT's home monitoring technology is so advanced,
You can turn it on from any phone, anywhere, and in seconds, your house will be covered with a high-technology blanket of protection. Call now and get ADT's sophisticated burglary system installed for as little as $99. You could also save up to 20% off your basic homeowner's insurance. ADT's Advanced Monitoring Center is staffed by skilled professionals, always on full alert and ready to send help in seconds. That's why ADT helps protect more homes and families than any other security company in America.
Is there anything else
Call now and get the ADT burglary system from $99 installed, plus up to 20% off your homeowner's insurance. Get the power of ADT.
Who has the longest hitting streak in the majors?
DiMaggio.
Thanks. You know, the winner of this Hooters Master the Mound trivia contest gets to go to Coors Field. Who won the Cy Young Award in 1981?
Raleigh Fingers.
Hey, Raleigh, can you come up ball for me, please?
Absolutely.
For my dad. Anything else?
Yeah, send in a relief pitcher.
Come to Hooters and master the mound to win a trip to Coors Field with Raleigh Fingers.
Drivers don't win all the races for us in Toyota. Sometimes it's an engineer. Sometimes it's a mechanic. And sometimes it's John, who can take half a gram and turn it into a 16th of a car length. Nice going, John.
From Daytona to Trois-Rivières, get ready for the action. The Grand Prix players at Trois-Rivières, a Molson Export presentation. Hitting the track from July 28th to 30th.
Back at Mid-Ohio, there's a good look at Andy Wallace in that, well, frankly, kind of bizarre-looking new Lola B2K chassis. What an amazing aerodynamic treatment on that car. Looks like an old Chevy business coupe with that bulbous nose right smack in the middle of that car.
Tell you what, that thing makes some mega downforce. It's the same chassis that I'm driving, of course, and was to develop in our car. It's a good car.
While the battles have cooled, let's take a moment to meet one of the key people behind the Grand American Road Racing Series, a man who's been around endurance racing for a long time. Here's John Bizignano with Mark Raffoff.
Thank you very much, Bob. As you said, Mark Raffoff has been around this game for a very long period of time. But Grand American Racing, this is their 5th weekend. And Mark, congratulations on a great entry here in Mid-Ohio, over 40 cars. You must be very surprised with that.
Surprised, yes, but pleased, because it's the path that we chose to try and get the competition to the point where people with different kinds of equipment could come out and race and put on a good show, and I think we're there.
So summarize the first part of this season.
Well, obviously, when you start with a 24-hour race, it's tough, but every event since then, we've had a lot of different winners and different kinds of equipment. The competition has been really good, and we're very pleased with where we are after 5 events.
Well, that competition, it's difficult to find parity in so many different classes. Now, some people are saying they need a little bit of help. Are you going to be tweaking the rule book yet this year?
Well, that's always an option, John, but, you know, you have to watch and see what the equipment and the people do and what the circumstances are over a course of events, and we're doing that. And again, after just 4 races actually complete, and we're at the 5th one, it's probably a little too early to make abrupt changes, but we always keep an eye on everybody, and we try and keep that parity there.
There are so many Ferrari fans watching on TV, coming to the tracks. Now, they want to see that Ferrari running up front. Can you help them with their power situation?
Well, that's always an option, but if you look at the time so far this weekend, they've been here, they're at the front, they're very close, as are other people, and the competition at the front is so close that we're really talking fractions of a second here, and that's good to see. But we'll always keep an eye on all of the packages to make sure they're in the hunt.
Well, Mark Raffoff, congratulations again. He is going to be keeping an eye on this entire grid all season long.
All right, thank you, John, and thank you to Series Race Director Mark Raffoff, on board with Jack Baldwin, 3rd overall and in the sports racer class.
See him give a wave right there to Archer. That was Tommy Archer who moved aside there in turn 1, let him go up the inside, so he's giving him a thank you.
Around the keyhole, slightly off camber, a little dip in the middle of it, changes of pavement from asphalt to concrete. Got a whole world worth of racetrack right there in one corner. This is second place. Andy Wallace in the orange number 8 car has it. Jack Baldwin closing in now, wants it. Over to our AGT class leader, Bruce Nesbitt, in that Ford Mustang.
So the front end get light as it came over there. The back end gets light right there. That's where he almost got to the wall a few laps back. Sure, that scare is over now.
Craig Conway right behind him. That's first and second in class, nose to tail on the racetrack here at Mid-O. I imagine by this point, Craig Conway is just watching Bruce Nesbitt flogging that Ford around the track, saying, well, I might just stay right here for a minute and see if Bruce takes himself out of my way.
Well, he was power down loose off both those corners coming on the front pit straight right there, so his rear tires are starting to give up a little bit, that's for sure.
Great first corner right there. Very, very quick, and that's what racing drivers love, fast corners. Nesbitt hard on the brakes now, flames from the exhaust as he downshifts that big V8. There's the number 12 car. We saw this car brought into the pits by Mimo Schiattarella early on, out of sequence on its pit stops. On board now with Mike Fitzgerald, 20th overall and second in class as the Ferrari comes screaming by.
Pretty good view of what it's like to be in a GTU car and look in your rearview mirror and get blown completely off by one of these fast sports racers.
A good example of why those drivers have to be so careful with faster cars around them.
Speaking of off, there's one of the GTU cars off the road completely. The driver saves it, gets back on the pavement. It had a big moment for a few feet there.
Mimo Schiattarella. Here's our leader in the GTO class, Tommy Archer, in that brand new Dodge Viper. You can be sure the Saleen Mustang, though, there it is just behind him. I was going to say, I'm sure he's not far away.
Between those two, one of our Sports 2 category cars right in the middle of that fight. And, of course, it should be quicker right up in here until they get around that corner on the straightaway and that V10 goes to work.
Nothing like the inter and intra class battles in endurance sports car racing. And keep in mind, 82 is not only trying to hold position ahead of the number 5 Mustang, it's also trying to hold off that number 6 Sports 2 racer, because that's for overall position on the track as they come down the backside.
And catching an even slower car, which just ran over something to the track there, threw it up in front. Don't know what that was, but that Porsche hit something on the road.
It's the same color as that GTU Porsche up ahead, but it's hard to say. Now we've got pit stop action. Andy Wallace coming in a little slowly there in that second place Lola, and the race leader is in as well. Driver change. Here's Calvin Fish.
The leader, James Weaver, is in the pits. Kind of caught the team by surprise. A sudden yellow, and James just blasted down pit lane. Butch Leitzinger was not ready. He was still pulling his gloves on as he actually came into the car. James helped him into the car. Weaver completing a 4-tire change. Fuel is in. They're just waiting on the drive change. Actually a problem with the right front, but that's okay now. Car is on the ground. Some damage to the right side. Looks like James may have got into someone.
From the extreme end of the pit lane, it's a straight shot back on track. Now, as Calvin mentioned, we have a yellow flag. Our second full course caution of the day as Andy Wallace leaves. There's the reason. We'll be right back.
In our family, men lose their hair early.
Thank you.
So I've been using Rogaine for about 2 years now, and I don't see any difference. And that's the idea. You keep the hair you have. Look, I love my dad. I'm just not in a rush to look like him. Rogaine, it's stronger than heredity.
Philips CD recorder. Burn your own CDs.
You grip the road securely. You whip through curves precisely. The remarkably agile, entirely new 2001 Aurora by Oldsmobile. You get inside it, it gets inside you. Aurora by Oldsmobile.
The Speed Vision GT and Touring Car Championships turn to Lime Rock Park, and this time it's anyone's race. Watch the bumper-to-bumper action as Vipers, Vets, Mustangs, Audis, and BMWs race for the title. Saturday, June 24th at 8 Eastern, 5 Pacific.
Welcome back to Mid-Ohio in the U.S. Road Racing Classic. Bob Barsha along with Dorsey Schroeder, Calvin Fish, and John Bizignano with you for round 5 of the inaugural Grand American Road Racing season. We have a new race leader. There it is, Jack Baldwin, having taken over when the 2 cars ahead of him pitted under this caution flag. James Weaver climbed out, made way for Butch Leitzinger. Meanwhile, Andy Wallace stayed in the cockpit of his Ford-powered Lola.
We talked about the Judd being fuel efficient, so he didn't come in right then. Watch his turn 1, a blindingly fast corner, but as he comes off this, listen to this Judd go to work here. Ooh, in there a little hot. Gets very wide of the apex there. Good save.
Great sounding V10 engine. Once again, I think cold tires maybe caught Jack out just that little bit.
Did a good save there. Got in way too hot. You saw the car skate across the racetrack, headed out toward the field. He gathered it up. Look at the lead. Whoop! Talk about cold tires.
Butch Leitzinger takes over. Second in the class. Dyson crew able to get Leitzinger out there and lose just 1 position on the racetrack thanks to the caution. But great battle now as they've got the Ferrari right behind Leitzinger. And ooh, here comes Wallace in the Lola.
Boy, oh boy, I think that took him by surprise for sure. That is not a place you want to get past.
Schiattarella in that red number 12 Ferrari. As we go back to Leitzinger. This is 2nd, 3rd, and 4th in the overall. Good look there at Wallace. Did not get out of the Lola. Into turn 1. Oh, and smoke off the back of the Dyson racing car with Leitzinger.
James, once again, a great opening stint there. Pulled a bit of a lead on Andy, then the caution. He came in all of a sudden, though, almost caught Butch on the hop.
Yeah, I was just coming into the final corner. They said pit now. And I was there, and I saw Butch wasn't ready, so I started to stay in the car. And then he had gloves and hats going everywhere, so he got himself organised, so it didn't cost us any time.
Apparently it did not, as we pick up the battle for first in GTU. Randy Popes in the number 18 car, leading Mike Fitzgerald in the 81. It's an all-Porsche battle, as you see.
Oh, that tight racing like through there.
Popes is pushing hard. That Porsche ahead of him is about to be lapped. It's the 18 and the 81 that we're concerned about right now. There's your class summary. Popes running in 15th overall with Fitzgerald just behind him. You pointed out earlier, Dorsey, that these cars, the GTU machinery, in many ways work better than the bigger, more powerful GTO cars around Mid-Ohio.
Yeah, half the track is so windy and twisty. The little cars are very agile, and they can get around there really well. The big cars have trouble getting the power down. Of course, they're going to be quick down the straightaway. Look here. Got a good battle going on.
A couple of generations of the classic Porsche 911 there. On the right is the GT3R, the latest iteration of the 911 for GTU racing. And that's the point of dividing these cars into class by engine displacement and weight, is to allow more drivers to compete among themselves rather than just watching the very fastest cars disappear over the horizon. Perhaps the greatest name in endurance sports car racing, Porsche. For so many years, victories at Le Mans, at Sebring, at Daytona, at the great endurance races around the world. We look forward to seeing Porsche come back to the very front rank of endurance racing and running the sports racer class. Oh, there's our pole-sitting GTO car. Michael McCann, the team owner, has taken over from the man who put it on pole, Tommy Archer, and he's had a problem early in his stint.
He's got himself out in the gravel trap, and he's probably stuck. Now we look at Ron Johnson, who's relieved Terry Borscheller in the Saline. Now he's going to have a great big lead because that the Viper is quite stuck.
And that will bring out our third full course caution of the day. There's McCann stuck in the gravel, and this will be a great benefit to Jack Baldwin up front. He did not stop under the previous yellow. And sure enough, here comes the race leader. Here's Calvin.
Number 74 car is in, 65-mile-an-hour speed limit, and Jack Baldwin brings it in. He's going to switch it over. Rather a strange strategy here, because I do not believe that this car can make it without another stop. George Robinson caught on the hop a little bit. He's trying to get in. They're fighting over the side of the car there. George didn't have his gloves ready. Didn't expect Jack to be in quite so soon, so this is happening under caution. It shouldn't be too much of a problem, but it isn't the cleanest pit stop driver change-wise. Meanwhile, the team goes to work. 4 new Goodyears going on. The fueling looks like it's about complete, and Jack Baldwin stays in the cockpit to assist George Robinson there with the driver change, and that is going to hang things up a bit. As we speak, the number 12 Ferrari is in right behind them. It looks like Mimo Schiattarella is going to stay in that car. He does, in fact. There'll be Ralph Kelleners he'll eventually turn it over to, so I'd suggest that certainly the Ferrari will need to make another stop and split the rest of this race distance. Meanwhile, the driver change still goes on with George Robinson and Jack Baldwin. A lengthy stop, and they lose track position to the Ferrari.
Well, there's a classic example of what can happen to you when your pit stops are not well tuned.
You need to do a little practice there. You saw George go all the way across the car from the inside out the other side and have to get back in again. That's not too good.
And they lose a position on the racetrack as a result. You heard Calvin Fish say it. Mimo Schiattarella stays in the Ferrari. On board now with car owner George Robinson, who was to have driven this car when it was debuted at Phoenix, Arizona, but he took sick, could not get in it, and went on to win the race anyway. We'll be back.
Champions agree. Prolong engine treatment has no equal in the world.
You know, I can't drive around town at over 300 miles per hour, but I still put my personal vehicles under a lot of stress. I count on Prolong for the ultimate in protection and performance.
The youngsters have used Prolong off the track for years because we know it works.
Nothing lubricates like Prolong. Its patented technology treats the engine, not just the oil.
Prolong's a super lubricant. It bonds to the metal in your car's engines and helps reduce friction. There's nothing else like it.
I believe in Prolong. At home, I use it in every engine I have.
Prolong's great stuff. In fact, it's so superior to other engine treatments that they offer a lifetime limited product warranty for your engine.
But if you want the warranty, you have to call Prolong.
Call today and get the details on the lifetime warranty.
Find out how using Prolong can help save you money. Call the number on your screen now. Prolong, no equal in the world.
Thursday night, American Muscle Car selects the greatest muscle car of all time. Cast your vote on speedvision.com and see how you measure up with the experts. See the greatest muscle cars of all time on American Muscle Car, Thursday night at 8 Eastern.
Winner of this year's 24 Hours of Le Mans. And we're bunching up with this tight left-hander, and Haig is all over him into the turn.
Welcome back to Mid-Ohio Sports Car Course in the U.S. Road Racing Classic. On the Grand American Road Racing Trail, Bob Barsha along with Dorsey Schroeder. We are under a full course caution for the third time today. You see the field making its way around, bunching up for a restart. Not much mechanical attrition here today, but that's not unusual at Mid-Ohio, where there's lots of runoff at the corners. Drivers can make mistakes and not suffer for it. On board with Darren Law, who has taken over this GTU class-leading Porsche from his teammate, and he just bumps Paul Jenkins in that Mustang.
Yeah, look what he's doing. He's trying to get Jenkins to go because Jenkins hasn't caught up to the field. Look, he's pumping him all the way through the carousel. He wants him to get up there and catch his other guys. And look how much it's held him back.
Oh, my. And immediately he goes to the inside to try to get around that American GT Mustang. I'm not sure he was going to be able to do it. And now we've got the Ferrari in the pits for what looks like a 10-second stop-and-go penalty. Word from the pit lane is that Mimo Schiattarella was a little too enthusiastic on his pit entry on the previous stop and came in above the 65-mile-an-hour pit lane speed limit. Critical mistake for the Italian. And there's more from the pits as well. Here's John Bisognano.
Jack, you look like you're having more fun out there than I've ever seen you have.
You know, that was really fun driving that Informix software rally in Scott. It was a blast. I mean,
why'd you stay out so long?
Because Jimmy told me to.
And because you could, fuel-wise.
Oh, I could, and you know, when they dropped in, I was behind that 8 car, and they dropped in, and I said, should I follow him? Should I follow him? He said, no, stay out. And at first I went, oh man, maybe that's the wrong thing, but you know, Jim Frazier's in charge of this. I just do what he says. That's the easiest way.
A little bit longer of a stop than you wanted, though.
Yeah, I don't know what happened to George. George is supposed to come in from the other side of the car. So I don't know why he was this side. I guess some malfunction or he couldn't get there, whatever. But, hey, at least it was under caution.
Nobody enjoys their racing more than Jack Baldwin.
No question about that. With many championships running the production-based machinery in the old International Motorsports Association, Jack Baldwin from Marietta, Georgia, has seen his share of racing miles here at Mid-Ohio.
These two guys can't get apart. Look at this. Oh, 3 wide now going up. This is toward turn 1. They'll have to get that sorted out.
This is for GTU class leadership. Darren Law driving aggressively, goes by Randy Pobst. Now there's Law's teammate up ahead, and he's gesturing at him.
Get out of my way.
Meanwhile, here is John Paul Jr., the number 20 Ford Riley and Scott for Dyson Racing, having taken over from Elliott Ford Robinson. He's got a battle on his hands as well. Pulls up into 11th overall, but just 9th in the sports racer category, so he has some ground to make up. Going by the number 29 Ford Riley and Scott, shared by John Field and his Intersport Racing teammates. Now we've got another yellow flag, our 4th full course caution. That's a shame we couldn't get some green flag laps in. There's the reason. The number 50 Genesis Racing BMW M3, Rick Fairbanks, started it. It appears that he has fairly comprehensively finished it.
Yeah, you saw that right rear axle sticking out from where the fender used to be. He's backed it into something pretty hard, and I think that'll end his day.
That's a shame. Bill Auberland was to have gotten in that car, and he is quick, but it appears he will not. We'll be back.
American Road Racing. Sports car racing at some of the most storied road courses and racetracks in North America. On June 28th, Grand American Road Racing will bring the tradition, prestige, and style of sports car racing to Daytona International Speedway. This week, enjoy a lifestyle like no other. Call Daytona International Speedway at 904-253-RACE for ticket information.
Now hear this. You have entered the motor news and information superhighway, speedvision.com. From the network that drives, flies, speeds, and soars to the end of the earth to bring you highlights, analysis, insights, product news from those experts that live it 24 hours a day. Speedvision.com. Now with expanded coverage and news from the world of speed from Speedvision and Racer Magazine. Get the inside line anytime. Log on to speedvision.com.
Welcome back to Mid-Ohio. Once again, getting set for a restart here at the U.S. Road Racing Classic. Bob Varsha, Dorsey Schrader, Calvin Fish, and John Bizignano with you. Once again, we go on board Darren Law's Porsche, leading the GTU category. Once again, one of the AGT cars ahead of him. It's the Spirit of Daytona Chevy Camaro. And once again, Darren Law gets right up there to the bumper, if not further forward.
He's wanting to get a good run. There's the start coming out right here.
And he has a gap as they head down toward 1. The 09 car, shared by Doug Goad and Craig Conway, moving away smartly. And in fact,
Viper comes right up the inside too. That's the power difference. Of course, those are the faster cars. Those are GTO cars.
Maybe Law was a little caught out by that green flag, but now he is back up to speed. Meanwhile, up toward the front, Butch Leitzinger leads away. Andy Wallace in second place in the number 8, and all over the back of him is Didier Taze. Recall that this Ferrari with the Judd engine started back in 21st position after they changed the engine following the first round of qualifying. But Didier Taze, who has not yet gotten out of the car, has moved it all the way up to battle for second place. Well, or at least he did until right there, and all of a sudden we don't see him.
It's smoke. I just saw smoke coming out of it. I think he might have lost a motor or something back there. We haven't seen the car there.
There he is. Lots of smoke.
It's out of the front. That's the rear engine, so it's not. It's a wheel or something.
Ah, it's from the right front wheel, and it looks like the front of the car is dragging on the ground as he lost. Yes, problems at the right front as the wheel comes completely adrift.
Well, the whole wheel is gone now. He's driving on 3, and luckily this is the pit entrance that he's at.
That is very fortunate. Now, it wouldn't be a surprise if something like this happened right after a pit stop, and perhaps they wouldn't get the right front wheel on completely. This car's been on the track for some time. As you mentioned, fortunate that Taze was right there at the pit in and able to get to his pit stall. Let's see if he comes out. Here's Calvin.
Number 27 at Didier Taze brings it in. The Duran-Lister Special. They're going to obviously try and replace that right front wheel. Hopefully no damage has been done. It's going to be Mauro Baldi jumping in here. Again, the team unawares Kevin Durant is actually down in the Competizione Risi team. And having a chat down there. When suddenly got the call on the radio, there was a problem with the 27 car. They come back around here. The team is inspecting this right front spindle. It looks like it's been beat up pretty bad. So there may be some concern here. They're actually going to have to put the wheel on. They're going to try and rethread this, but this is a little bit of a concern for the team to put a wheel on under these conditions. Looks like the nut is definitely not wanting to thread onto the spindle. This could be a big problem. They go to another type nut, another style nut. This one looks like it may want to go on, but it's cross-threading as we speak. This is dangerous stuff, guys. And I think this is going to be a very lengthy pit stop for the Duran team.
All right, thank you, Calvin. You saw the wheel come back off. The mechanics reaching into that wheel well and going for the heat-resistant gloves. Very hot there in that well.
Well, those threads have got to be really messed up because that wheel was sitting on there with the lug nut that holds it missing. And I'm sure they're all really messed up now. This guy isn't.
Absolutely not. Butch Leitzinger from State College, Pennsylvania, having taken over from James Weaver, who put this car on pole. It's going very well for Dyson Racing right now. And here comes the Ferrari back out now as the Doran team apparently has affected the fix, and we've had a driver change. Mauro Baldi from Monte Carlo has taken over for Didier Taze. And as we speak, here comes Mauro Baldi rocketing up past our GTU leader. If he has any questions about the efficacy of that repair to the right front, he doesn't appear to show it.
You'd think it'd be a little bit nervous and tenuous at this other end of the straightaway. You could have a big accident if it got wrong on it.
Here's Paul Jr. up to 3rd overall. Earlier we saw him running 9th in the class, 11th overall. But with all the pit stop action and drivers going off course, John Paul Jr. has been able to haul that car forward.
The little left front wing epaulet is actually loose on that car. I saw it lean over twice now in the corner, and it's still attached, so it shouldn't make much difference to it.
Aboard with George Robinson in 4th after that lengthy pit stop, and the driver exchange with his partner Jack Baldwin. Here's a look at our running order. We'll take a break and return to Mid-Ohio for more road racing.
If you added up all the hours you've spent boring out cylinders, building strokers, and setting up suspension, you'd have graduated from MMI by now, and you'd be getting paid for doing what you love. Call 1-800-994-3664 to find out how you can become one of the best technicians in the world. Motorcycle Mechanics Institute.
Fishing isn't just a pastime. It's a way of life. Gotcha. eAngler.com understands. It's the ultimate website dedicated to fishermen, featuring a pro shop, guide services, travel, a newsstand, and expert advice. Log on now to enter the I Landed the Big One sweepstakes to win exotic fishing trips, a bass boat, and $65,000 in cash. So call or log on and
catch it on eAngler.com.
Drivers don't win all the races for us at Toyota. Sometimes it's an engineer. Sometimes it's a mechanic. And sometimes it's John, who can take half a gram and turn it into a 16th of a car length. Nice going, John.
Boom! Stop dead in his track. That's how fast Tough Actin Tenactin pump spray works. It stops the itching and burning of athlete's foot dead. The only leading brand so tough it prevents athlete's foot. Tackle athlete's foot symptoms in seconds with Tough Actin Tenactin.
Welcome back to Mid-Ohio. Now, this was the scene a few moments ago as Didier Taze lost the right front wheel. You saw the lug nut holding the wheel on fly off. Finally, the wheel flies off itself. Calvin Fish is with Taze.
Didier, it looked like you had a great run going. You're right at the front of the field, and suddenly you lose a wheel. That's typical after a pit stop. You had many laps on the car.
Yeah, many laps after the pit stop. I don't understand why. The car was running fine. I was very conservative with my tires because I know James and Andy had to pit more than us. I think one pit stop for us was enough, and I think they had to do a splash, because I was just waiting and see what's going on. And all of a sudden, I had some vibration on the braking in the hand of the straightaway. Then I saw the smokes. I thought to myself it was maybe a puncture because I had a lot of vibration on the right-hand side. And then when I show up on the King on the back there, I saw the right wheel leaving the car. And I had to stop during the green and look what the problem was, put a new wheel. I think we lost maybe one lap there.
Okay, it's going to be tough going for the 27 car. They had such a strong car this afternoon, and it looked like the strategy was going their way until that unscheduled stop.
That definitely sums it up, Calvin, as we pick up John Paul Jr. continuing to fly along, now up to third overall and third in the sports racer category in the Ford, Riley, and Scott for Dyson Racing. Former champion in these cars going back to the early 80s. John Paul Jr. has grown up around racing. Now here's one of our GTO contenders. This is the Saleen Mustang for Borcheller and Johnson. We've got a driver change here. Coming off 3 victories in the first 4 races of the season. This car is really coming into its own in Grand Am racing.
I believe that's Terry Borcheller getting back in the car now. This will be a double stint for him as you see Ron Johnson helping him get the window net and everything in place. So Borcheller will take control of that car to the finish now.
We talked about the problems they had 2 weeks ago at Lime Rock with a sticking throttle, which Ron Johnson handled by actually flicking off the ignition switch to help slow the car. The car then caught fire during a driver change. Johnson tried to come out. Crew forced him back into the car, said, "Don't worry, we'll put the fire out. You're not in any danger." I'm not sure he saw it quite that way.
And they used up all the fire extinguisher powder and so forth to put the fire out, so he went out with nothing.
They're working in the back of the car. Word has it they're having a problem getting the taillights to operate as we pick up Stu Hayner in the other Dodge Viper in the field. That one from EMI Racing. Hayner sharing with Eric Mesley. Now they're pushing the 5 car, so there may be more problems there. We've got a car off. This is the Sports Racer 2 category machine for Martin Snow and Larry Schumacher. And now we've got something going on in the pit lane. That's former Le Mans 24 Hours winner Stanley Dickens in the Ferrari, owned and co-driven by Bobby Brown, who hails from right here in Lexington, Ohio. Appears to have lost the fire in that car. He may have stalled it trying to get around the Mustang.
Well, they go to the left rear tire and they're looking around and underneath there. I don't know. Looks like maybe the car locked up on him. He just can't get it to roll or do anything.
Bobby Brown.
He's getting out. Look, he's got smoke or some sort of fire. Now the Saleen car is finally getting out of the way. Good timing on their part.
Bobby Brown hails from right here in Lexington, Ohio, sharing with Stanley Dickens, a former 24 Hours of Le Mans winner. So while that goes on, the Saleen team deals with their problems.
I think the Ferrari actually was on fire, burning back there. You see a lot of smoke and some people. Finally, they get the Saleen up and running. It's out of the way now.
While safety crews continue to work on Bobby Brown's Ferrari, John Bizignano has caught up with Michael McCann.
Michael McCann, what a great afternoon for your Viper, but it ended in the sand trap.
Yeah, it did. The car was running great. Tommy started out very well. I felt real good in the car when we got in. I felt like I had a lot for the Saleen. I was having some trouble with the traffic. I couldn't get through some areas that I thought I should. I think I got a little frustrated. And I really don't know. I don't know what happened on 7. The next thing I know, I'm in the sand trap. So I'm going to file it away as a learning experience and look forward to next time and just go on.
Well, that's all you can do. Chalk it up to experience. Now, with the problems to this Saleen Mustang and McCann's Viper, the Stu Hayner Viper is now the race leader in GTO. Once again, we are under a yellow flag. We'll be back.
Finally, a tire treatment that lasts weeks, not days, even after heavy rains. Introducing Meguiar's Endurance, the long-lasting tire gel that even stops tires from turning brown. Apply the rich concentrated gel easily and evenly with a special applicator that eliminates overspray, drips, stains, and all the mess of ordinary tire care. Endurance is water resistant and keeps tires looking rich and black for weeks, not days. Meguiar's Endurance, the tough, long-lasting tire treatment.
In our family, men lose their hair early.
Thank you.
So I've been using Rogaine for about 2 years now, and I don't see any difference. And that's the idea. You keep the hair you have. Look, I love my dad. I'm just not in a rush to look like him. Rogaine, it's stronger than heredity.
I'm Mario Andretti, and you're watching Speed Vision.
Go, 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 go.
Hemmings.com is the world's finest collector car website. This enormous site has cars and parts for sale, tools, car clubs, car show listings, online auctions, and more. The key to your dream car, www.hemmings.com.
This month on OLN, get ready for edge of your seat excitement on Adventure Sundays. First, in the outdoors, what happens when you come face to face with the unexpected and the untamed? Wild Survival with Corbin Burnson shows you how these close encounters can be more than frightening. Then, Adventure Quest is going to extremes with an all-out assault on sanity. No river is too rough, no mountain too tall, and once you've tasted the adrenaline, there's no going back. Adventure Sundays, only on OLN.
Back at Mid-Ohio, still under caution. Bob Varsha along with Dorsey Schroeder with you for the U.S. Road Racing Classic. The number 20 Dyson Racing Ford Riley and Scott is in the pits. John Paul Jr. climbs out after a good stint worth of work, and Elliott Forbes Robinson climbs in.
It's all looking pretty routine. You see, they didn't have the driver change problem that the Robinson crew had earlier on. The guys putting 4 new tires on, new Goodyears, and wiping out the radiator inlets right there. But this, I think, no panic in this pit stop.
Interesting that the Dyson team, with the same Ford engines in both cars, badges one as a Ford Riley and Scott, that car, the number 20. The other, the number 16 car, leading the race at the moment, badged as a Lincoln Riley and Scott.
And, of course, they're exactly the same car. In fact, I won this race in that car 2 years ago. So those cars have been around a long time. There's a brand new Renard of the S2 class.
This is the Schumacher snow machine that we saw spin off earlier, and there's the reason, I think. You see the left rear is flat.
Quite flat.
So he is trying to limp that car around. Now we've got a pit stop. Here's Biz.
Butch Leitzinger darts into his stopping area. James Weaver over the side of the car. The number 16 has been in the lead of the sports racing class virtually the entire time. A little bit of damage here on the right-hand side of the car. Part of the carbon fiber has been pulled away, and it definitely hit right in the midsection, just behind the radiator. Very lucky that that hit did not happen only a couple feet forward. There would definitely be some liquids leaking from the lead car. Again, traffic. But I'll tell you, James Weaver thinks that this Riley and Scott is the best car to have out there in serious traffic situations.
All right, thanks, Biz. And I think maybe that car has seen impacts more than once. Now, earlier, Didier Taze said the Judd-powered cars could go on one stop and a splash. The Dyson team has been through 2 full stops with its Ford-powered cars. Meanwhile, there's Scott Schubot having taken over from Andy Wallace. Here's Calvin Fish.
While Schubot was making his change, the number 74 car has been brought in. George Robinson is now handed over to Jack Baldwin to try and take it to the finish. Again, the driver change takes a little bit of time. The crew completes their work. Jack is on his way.
All right, thank you, Calvin. Now let's get back to the subject of impact. With more than 40 cars in 5 classes on track at one time, getting around slower cars safely is one of the prerequisites of Grand American Road Racing. Most of the time, it's second nature to these drivers, but sometimes things can go very wrong. Case in point, the last round at Lime Rock Park, where 2 sports racers came up on a slower SR2 car. Dennis Spencer in the slower car tried to stay out of the way, but John Field touched him and sent him into a violent spin.
And John got what we call tunnel vision. He was just so intent on the back of the car in front of him, he just forgot about checking the sides, and that's a big wreck right there.
Well, you can see in replay that Field was doing exactly that, following the car ahead of him. Contact was inadvertent, but in the end, it was Spencer who paid the penalty. Fortunately, no one was hurt in the accident, and for his part, John Field was remorseful.
It probably is my fault because I was focused on staying with Didier Taze, and really lost concentration of who was beside me at that point. And so I think it's a really eye-opening experience for me to realize that it's, you know, you've got a very slow group of cars, a lot of transition and speed, so you got to be maintaining your peripheral vision a little better than I was at that instant. It's a learning experience for me for sure. But yeah, you got to really pay attention to the slower cars and keep out of the way as well.
There was a full range of sensations that I hadn't experienced before, because most jumps I'd had have been just backing into a wall or so on. My right foot, as the car was spinning, my right foot stuck on the accelerator with the left foot on top of it, caught under the brake. So I could not reach the brake, and I could not turn the accelerator off. And every time I swung around, your head was just violently jerking. And it's just around and around and around, wondering when's it going to stop. Finally hit the ignition switch, and it slowed down.
Dennis Spencer was lucky to escape from that crash without serious injury, thanks in part to HANS, or HANS. It stands for Head and Neck Restraint System, developed by racer Jim Downing and Dr. Bob Hubbard. Now, getting back to the issue of overtaking in a race with 5 different classes on a crowded track, we sampled some driver opinions on the subject and how it might pertain to Mid-Ohio. We felt Jack Baldwin summed it up best.
You got to be patient, but you got to be aggressive. You've got to time your moves. You've got to get the run. You've got to plan ahead. You've got to see it coming. You've got to really plan the move and get your timing just right. The door opens and closes very quickly here. The door, only on the straightaway is the door open and you can drive by. Every place else, it's sort of like the door opens, the door shuts. If you can get through it, that one split, you're ready and you can set it up, and then you can make the pass. Otherwise, you have to wait. And this is where the patience comes in, because when you're racing another car and he gets by and you don't, and you force the issue, that's when the wreck happens.
Fortunately, nothing like that Lime Rock accident thus far today at Mid-Ohio. More pit action taking place. There's the number 2 Ferrari. Car owner Bobby Brown has taken over for Stanley Dickens after that strange fire in the pit lane. The number 12 has made a change. Mimo Schiattarella out, Ralph Kelleners in. There's the 09 Spirited Daytona Chevy Camaro in the American GT category. The crew having a little discussion about whether to refuel the car. And there's our leader in Sports Racer 2, Larry Oberto out, Ryan Hampton in. We'll be back.
Chevy Blazer. A little security in an insecure world. Blazer, like a rock.
Man, I love reading about each of my heroes every week in Cycle News.
Cycle News is America's weekly motorcycle newspaper. In the win, interviews, same-week coverage of major events, local, national, and world championship calendars, one ads, and more. To subscribe, call 1-800-325-2925 for America's #1 motorcycle newspaper.
If you have to miss a race, don't miss the latest issue of Cycle News.
Be like Travis. Subscribe to Cycle News.
He's been voted the most powerful on-air personality in sports. He's larger than life. He sparked a passion taking the country by storm. And the Sporting News says he's generated more buzz than Oprah Winfrey and Larry King. He's arguably the hippest, freshest, funniest sports talker working today.
You're underpaid. There's no question about that.
That is some serious smack. Jim Rome, The Last Word. Weeknights at 6:30 and 11:30 on Fox Sports Net. Welcome to the jungle.
Tomorrow night, get the review on the Pocono 500. Then it's highlights of the Rally Argentina and an encore presentation of the Canadian Grand Prix. That's NASCAR Inside Winston Cup Racing at 7 Eastern, FIA World Rally Championships at 8, and the Canadian Grand Prix at 8:30.
Back at Mid-Ohio, under caution in the later stages of the U.S. Road Racing Classic here on the Grand American Road Racing Trail. On board with Darren Law. We get set to go green once again. These GTU cars, by the way, only need to stop once during the race. There's one of our American GT cars. That's the 00 Ford Mustang, stopped by the side of the road with Paul Jenkins on the controls as we go back to green flag racing.
Well, they've gone back to green anyway, and that car's sitting right at the apex of some corner right before the carousel. Take a look right there. The 27. FUD, as they call it. Ferrari with a Judd motor.
It's a curious decision to go ahead with that car there. Nevertheless, we are racing once again, and here come the sports racer leading players.
These guys get quite racy now, way late in the race like it is. All the A drivers are back in again after that driver change on fresh tires. So this could be a good run.
This is for second overall behind the Ferrari Judd. The number 20 Dyson racing machine in the hands of Elliott Ford Robinson. Scott Schubot in the number 8 car. And, ooh, getting tail happy there is the other Dyson racing car. And there is where that Ford Mustang is parked.
Boy, and that is not a good place. That's a really high-speed corner. You see all the guys have to go around the outside of the racetrack to miss that.
Have to see if they allow him to stay in that position. Meanwhile, the race goes on, headlights on here at Mid-Ohio, a track built by the late Jim Truman, famed as a car owner for Bobby Rahal when he won the Indianapolis 500. Since Jim Truman's passing, the track has been run by his daughter, Michelle Truman. The track is now in its 39th year. Here's Calvin Fish with more.
That's right, Bob. Michelle Truman is the president of this wonderful facility here at Mid-Ohio. And Michelle, it must make you very proud to be now in your 39th season of racing here at this racetrack and have another classic sports car weekend.
No, we're very excited about this weekend. Mid-Ohio Sports Car Course was built on sports car racing, and it has a rich heritage here. And we've got a record field this weekend, and it's a perfect way to start the season.
You have an exciting summer ahead with the IndyCar weekend and, of course, the Valvoline runoffs coming here in October once again. But I know as chief instructor, your pride and joy is that driving school. Tell us about that.
No, absolutely. The driving school is a very important part of our business and what goes on here behind the scenes on non-race weekends.
One final question. We need to talk about that contract for next year. So if we could come over here and discuss this.
Oh, Calvin, that was very, very crude.
Calvin working the deal. That's my boy.
Oh, dear. I thought she was awfully polite to him, considering she's his boss.
Yeah, he did get off awfully unscathed on that whole confrontation, actually.
Meanwhile, the battle continues. Having the headlights on is not to help the drivers see the track in front of them as we go yellow once again here in the U.S. Road Racing Classic. I'm not sure exactly what this is for, but I suspect it has something to do with Paul Jenkins in the 00 car, still parked out there on the backstretch, not far from where these cars are right now. So while they get that Ford Mustang pulled off course, we'll take a break and be right back.
G-Tech Pro performance meter measures 0 to 60 times, quarter-mile times and speed, braking distance, handling G's, and yes, horsepower. No installation, just plug it in and off you go. 1/10 of a second accuracy, achieved with a precision accelerometer and DSP technology. Magazines have tested it. Now they test with it. Find out results before and after your next modification. Make your childhood dream come true. Order your G-Tech Pro today and become the test car driver you always wanted to be. Have as much fun as you had when you drove for the first time. Guaranteed, or your money back. G-Tech Pro is only $139.95. Call our 24-hour hotline right now at 1-800-G-Tech-PRO. That's 1-800-483-2477.
My baby don't stand no cheating, my baby. Oh, yes, she don't stand no cheating, my baby. Oh, yes, she don't stand no cheating. Don't stand none of that midnight creeping, my baby. True little baby, my baby.
Hello, this is Chris Hamilton at Porsche Motors. I'm either away from my desk or with a customer right now, but if you leave a name and...
The Speed Vision GT and Touring Car Championships turn to Lime Rock Park, and this time it's anyone's race. Watch the bumper-to-bumper action as Vipers, Vets, Mustangs, Audis, and BMWs race for the title. Saturday, June 24th at 8 Eastern, 5 Pacific.
Back at Mid-Ohio, under the yellow flag once again, due to a car stopped on the racetrack. It's now clear, and we expect to go back to racing again very shortly as the shadows continue to grow here at Mid-Ohio. What has been a beautiful day for racing. See the pace car pulling off. James Weaver back at the controls of the Dyson Racing, Lincoln, Riley, and Scott that he put on pole for this race leads the field away. This car has not been out of the race lead except for pit stop exchanges of position since the race began.
Yeah, his teammate, Elliott Forbes Robinson, is a cushion. If it is a cushion, he's right there behind him. As those Dyson cars now are 1 and 2.
Field makes its way through on the back stretch. This is the battle for third place. The number 8, Scott Schubot. Jack Baldwin on the attack, taking the inside line as they turn uphill on the right-hander.
Yeah, that was a good job right there. A classic slipstream all the way to the brake zone and then dive bomb up the inside. Good pass.
Baldwin sharing with his car owner, George Robinson. As you look at our field summary, the upper left, Scott Schubot owns that number 8 car, sharing with Andy Wallace. Here's another look.
See, he sat right behind him as late as he could, then popped hard to the inside so he couldn't be blocked out, and then drove real deep in the brake zone and just get that done clean. Now, that didn't slow down either of those cars, so it's a perfect pass. It didn't hurt them any as far as second place goes.
Scott Schubot, a former champion in the days of the International Motorsports Association in the Camel Lights class. Basically a version of what is now the Sports Racer 2 category. Schubot racing in the Sports Racer, the featured big bore open top sports cars here at Mid-Ohio. Baldwin able to open up a couple of car lengths now.
Exactly. I was going to say, look at Jack now that he's got around there. He's got the bit between his teeth. I think he senses it's late in the race and he's got to be on the attack. He would like to run down those Dyson cars if possible.
Number 74 car has the Judd V10. Schubot's car, the number 8 right there, is a Ford V8 powered machine, so it looks, at least between those two examples, that the Judd has the legs on the Ford engine as well as the fuel mileage advantage we've been talking about.
Somewhat surprising now, the top 3 cars are all Riley cars, and they're all of an older design compared to that Lola right there in 4th place, which is a brand new car this year.
Over the brow where the front wheels get light. Steering is an adventure. Big, long, double apex right-hander here. The bottom drops out once again as they flash down the backside of the racetrack toward the carousel.
Boy, Jack Baldwin is putting the pressure on. Now, he's really closed up on the Dyson cars. He's going to make a go of this.
Top 2 rows qualified for this race. The top 4 cars.
That's the leader.
Then 8/10. Yeah, the race leader is in, the number 16. James Weaver looking around, tapping himself on the helmet. A problem here?
Boy, it looks like he doesn't know what the problem is.
After dominating this race to this point, an unscheduled stop. Let's get down to John Bizignano.
16 in the pits, definitely a problem with the tire. One of the tires have had to go soft. They're changing all 4. Again, the damage down the right-hand side of the car. This is just exactly what the team did not want to have this late into the event. Of course, there's a little bit of extra time being taken with the right rear for some reason. Right now, all 4 tires seem in good shape, but they're taking extra time around the rear end of the car. We've got another mechanical problem back here, guys.
Engine still running on the car. Looks like the left rear is the problem.
Yeah, they shut it down, too. They've told James to shut the motor off. Taking the tire back off, they have a problem back there.
Scrambling around, looking at the suspension. Meanwhile, I guess if your leading car has to drop out, it's a good thing that your second car is running in second place. And so Elliott Forbes Robinson, or EFR as he is known to racing fans all across America, takes over the race lead with Jack Baldwin just behind him in second. And these 2 guys have raced each other often over the years.
Elliott and I won this race. He was my teammate 2 years ago in that very same car, so I'm sure he'd like to repeat. But it looks like this man, James Weaver, is not going to be a winner today.
Oh, dear. They continue to work on the left rear of that car. You see underneath the car that it's up on its jack stand. But Weaver stays in the car.
Look at Baldwin putting the pressure on. He's right there. This is going to be a good race here.
Paint jobs nearly identical on the 2 different team cars.
The real difference there is the motor, the Judd V10 in that second place car.
They're in the same kind of car. We'll see if EFR's Ford can hold off Baldwin's Judd. Stay with us.
It's not just a new sign. It's a promise, a guarantee. It's a new Midas. You'll know it when you first drive in. You'll appreciate it for as long as you own your car. Expanded new services, a new lineup of genuine Midas parts, guaranteed for a lifetime nationwide. Even if the part wears out. We're more than mufflers. We're a new way to keep a good thing going. Go Midas.
Ice Sport. The scent of exhilaration from Aquavelva. Also in skin conditioning gel with aloe and vitamin E for sensitive skin.
Didn't have to end like this. Armor All Protectant. Armor All Car Wax. It's not just shine, it's Armor All.
Get in the zone. Get in the zone.
The PM Zone at PopularMechanics.com. It feeds your need for speed. It's got the most major auto repair site on the planet. All the tools you need. From a quick tune-up to radical engine overhauls. Check out the PM Zone before you check under the hood. Ooh, need new wheels? The PM Zone's your cyber showroom. Get all the dirt on cars and trucks for the last 5 years. It all adds up with your online calculator. PopularMechanics.com will keep you on top of what's popular. Hey, how can you lose?
Back at Mid-Ohio, where the battle continues between Elliott Forbes Robinson of the Dyson Racing Machine and Jack Baldwin in the Robinson Racing, number 74. Meanwhile, down in the pit lane, John Bizignano is with Dyson Racing team owner Rob Dyson. Biz?
Rob, a perfect weekend for the number 16 car until some safety wire took you out. Your feelings?
That's racing. It's disappointing. We're not done yet, though. Elliott's still in front. Hopefully we can pull out a race win at the end, but it is disappointing. Yeah, it's racing.
He'll be back as a winner.
All right, thanks, John. Rob Dyson has certainly seen his share of racing luck, both good and bad, over his years of car ownership. This is the inaugural season of Grand American Road Racing action, and as a new series, the Grand Am is always looking for new ways for fans to enjoy their weekend racing experience. Earlier, Calvin Fish took a look at the situation at Mid-O.
The Mid-Ohio Sports Car Course is great for the fans. There are so many marvelous viewing areas for all of the fans throughout the weekend to watch the race from, but the staff also go to great lengths to ensure there's good interaction between the drivers and the fans throughout the course of the weekend. One example of this is the driver forum, which is going on right now as we speak. Let's listen in and hear some of the responses.
That's why we're supporting this series, because it allows us to come here and be competitive. I think that qualifying yesterday, the first 3 cars qualified within a half a second. And, you know, this is, and it's not based on who got the tires and who didn't have the tires. If we can't buy the competitive tire or the competitive car or the competitive engine, then how can we be competitive? And that's the question we have to ask ourselves when we go into this thing.
Yeah, I think the driver forums are great. It gives people a chance to talk to drivers out of the cars, and a lot of sports car fans are interested in the technical aspects of the sport, and it's unparalleled at being able to get some of these answers like we did today.
Not only were the fans happy with the driver forum, but there was another opportunity to get up close with the drivers to get that coveted John Hancock. Now, the names may not be as recognizable as Tiger Woods, Ken Griffey Jr., or Michael Jordan for that matter, but to these avid race fans, getting an autograph from one of the stars of the Grand Am Series is just as valuable. Now, speaking of value, The exchange rate currently on autographs is 1 of Calvin Fish to 5 of John Bizignano.
All right, thanks, Calvin. Never skip a moment to get a dig in on one of your colleagues.
Biz would be crying about that one.
Back to the battle for the race lead. There's Jack Baldwin flying through turn 1, and just ahead of him is Elliott Forbes Robinson. We have traffic at Baldwin with a huge overtaking maneuver headed for the keyhole.
I was about to say, look at the traffic we're going to have to work, and just as soon as I almost said it, it happened. He got held up momentarily, had to crack the throttle, and that's all it took for Jack to seize the moment. Up the inside he goes, and now he's setting sail.
Blowing by our GTU leader, Jack Baldwin immediately opens up a big gap over Elliott Forbes Robinson. And there is the GTO class leading Viper as well. Once again, we have all of the class leaders running close together. Another look.
Take a look right here how close this is. Look at the yellow flag on driver's left right there. The pass was made before he got there. Had it not been so, he would have had to have taken that back again. That was a good move right there.
That was a local yellow for a car off on the outside there in the keyhole turn. Now Jack Baldwin quickly opens up several car lengths on Elliott Forbes Robinson. Scott Schubot runs in third, and then the repaired number 16 with James Weaver at the controls is back on track, but a couple of laps down. There's EFR. I wonder if Weaver could be a factor in this race. The GTO, GTU class leaders come through, and then one of the Ferraris.
Weaver was fast enough he could get in front and hold up the Robinson car to some degree, hold Jack Baldwin at bay and let his teammate catch back up. Now, will he do that? Yeah, I guess we'll find out.
Headlights on, beginning to glimmer off the road. Normally the drivers will put those headlights on to let the slower cars ahead of them.
Here could be your answer.
Yeah.
Here comes Weaver headed toward the front.
Weaver goes around Schubot in third place. Not for position once again. But Weaver could be a tactical factor in this race if he can get in front of Baldwin and allow EFR to close in. Schubot still in third place. We'll take a break and return for more Grand American racing from the Mid-Ohio Sports Car Course.
The family computer. It's hard to imagine a day without it, which is why more people are putting their trust in Dell, the company awarded for best PC reliability and service 6 years in a row.
Computer free.
When you order a Dell Dimension desktop with an Intel Pentium 3 processor for $899,
I guess I'll go wash the windows.
Dell provides you with online training. And of course, you'll also get Dell's lifetime 24/7 phone and online support. If you should need more help in your first year of ownership, Dell will even send a repair technician to your home. Dell's service and support helps you get the most out of your PC. That is, when you can get on it. Call now to own a complete Dell Dimension system with an Intel Pentium 3 processor and everything you see here for only $899. At a price that low, order two. Then you're sure to get some time online.
Good night, Daddy.
Hey, sweetheart.
At the Lost Drive-In.
Hold on, baby. This is a roller coaster ride.
Woo! Susan George and Peter Fonda take over where Bonnie and Clyde left off.
Robbery's a dangerous business.
Buckle up for Dirty Mary, Crazy Larry next Saturday at 11 p.m. Eastern.
Winner of this year's 24 Hours of Le Mans. And we're bunching up with this tight left-hander, and Haig is all over him into the turn.
This man has a secret. It's a secret that'll give you the edge in your career, sculpt your body, and take your love life to new heights. What's the secret? It's Men's Health, America's #1 men's magazine. Each issue brings you tons of useful stuff from the world's foremost experts and reveals how you can build amazing abs with just 3 exercises, lose weight, and still eat great. Slash your cholesterol 30 points in 30 days. Plus, have great sex every day until you die. Call now for your free trial issue. Get the latest health breakthroughs for men, answers to your most intimate questions, plus step-by-step pull-out exercise posters. Find out what vitamins you need, how to strip away stress and relax instantly. Get a flat stomach without sit-ups, and double your income fast. Women, why do they have men spinning in circles, and what do they want? We tell you. Discover grooming secrets that help you look your best, buyer's guides for the latest gear, plus the ultimate adventure getaways for men. Learn how to resolve arguments fast and keep your relationships going strong. Get the latest secrets for men. Call now for your free trial issue. Keep it and get 1 year of Men's Health for just $21.97. Act now and get 3 essential guidebooks absolutely free. Discover nutritious guy meals and quick and healthy cooking for men. Sculpt a fantastic physique with burn fat, build muscle. And add sizzle to your sex life with the Men's Health Guide to Ultimate Intimacy. That's 1 year of Men's Health secrets plus 3 fabulous gifts absolutely free. There's no risk or obligation. Cancel anytime for a full refund. Discover how to supercharge your workouts, become the perfect lover, and much, much more. Call now for this special offer, Men's Health. Get in on the secret.
Call 1-800-934-8877 now to get your 3 free books. That's 1-800-934-8877.
Back at Mid-Ohio as the U.S. Road Racing Classic continues on the Grand Am Road Racing Championship Trail. There's the second-place car in GTO. That is a Porsche 911 Turbo in the hands of David Lacey and Greg Wilkins, both from Toronto, Canada. Wilkins currently driving. They're in position for a podium finish here at Mid-Ohio, and that would be a great effort for the Doncaster Racing Porsche. Here comes the second-place car in the GTU class, a similar-looking Porsche, but this is a non-turbo 911. Number 66 car being raced by Kevin Buckler from Sonoma, California, and Philip Collin from Lincolnshire, Illinois. Non-turbocharged Porsche, as all the cars must be under GTU class rules. There's the 09 Spirit of Daytona Camaro, Doug Goad, leading the American GT class, 15th overall. We saw them having some pit communication problems earlier on, but with the 00 Ford Mustang out of circulation, this Camaro has taken over leadership of the AGT class. Great sound from those American GT cars, mostly full-throated, big iron V8s. See the speed differential between an American GT car and a full-on sports racer open cockpit prototype car. And here is our GTO class leader, Eric Mesley, who shared this car throughout the day with Stu Hayner, also from California. We talked about the McCann Viper on pole being the big threat in the class, but after problems for the 2 GTO dominating cars, both the other Viper and the Saleen Mustang hitting problems, voila, here comes another Viper. Being passed by a sports racer. Sports Racer 2, I should point out.
Strange paint job on the car. It's hardly distinguishable as a Viper with all the different paint going every which way. But nonetheless, it's winning as we speak.
No question about it. All over the world, these Dodge Vipers have been winning races. Here comes car number 81. This is the GTU class leader, 13th in the overall.
Oh, jumps the curb and goes right up the inside of one of the big Camaros. That was a gutsy maneuver. Got on the curb. Lucky didn't hit the door handle there, but it gets through okay.
That is Darren Law, former race driving instructor from Phoenix, Arizona. He has been pounding that car around all day. Has fallen behind, come back to retake race leadership following pit stops. So Law and Mike Fitzgerald, who started the car. Speaking of unusual paint jobs, there is another.
That is another. There's your leader in the S2 division.
Ryan Hampton sharing with Larry Oberto. I think these guys have won every round of the Sports Racer 2 championship thus far. There were no Sports Racer cars in the 24 Hours of Daytona. This is a brand new class. And the cars were ready to go at 24-hour distance at that time. So the class made its debut at round 2 in Phoenix, Arizona. Oberto and Hampton and their team seem to have found the secret to the formula, a Nissan-powered Lola.
Uh-oh, look at there.
Oh, no.
GTO leader is pulled off. That's pulled off coming onto the back straight. I think mechanical difficulties. That's a shame after running so long in this race leading.
So after all of our hard efforts to bring you up to date on all the class leaders, we have a class change. That will put the number 0 GTO Porsche 911, that man, Greg Wilkins, Canadian, sharing with David Lacey, into the GTO class lead. What a victory it would be for these guys.
At least he'll get the lead once he gets by wherever that car's parked, which is right there. You see the yellow out. Now he's the leader.
This class has been dominated by Ford and then Viper. Now here's a chance for a turbocharged Porsche that has so many race victories to its credit to find its way to the top of the podium. As you see the Messley Viper still parked on the grass. The race is not over yet, but it's not looking good for Stu Hainer and Eric Messley right now. There's that classic 911 shape that has changed so little over the decades. A new GTO class leader, but we've got a ways to go. We'll be back for the checkered flag here at Mid-Ohio.
You have entered the Racing News and Information Superhighway. Get the inside line on Speed Vision News Race Week. Sunday night, 7:30 Eastern, 8:30 Pacific.
If it isn't purple, it isn't Prilosec. Isn't it Prilosec time for you? Ask your doctor about the purple pill they call Prilosec.
Ice Sport, the scent of exhilaration from Aquavelva. Also in skin conditioning gel with aloe and vitamin E for sensitive skin.
Every day, good to the last drop.
He's been voted the most powerful on-air personality in sports. He's larger than life. He sparked a passion taking the country by storm. And the Sporting News says he's generated more buzz than Oprah Winfrey and Larry King. He's arguably the hippest, freshest, funniest sports talker working today.
You're underpaid. There's no question about that.
That is some serious smack. Jim Rome, The Last Word. Weeknights at 6:30 and 11:30 on Fox Sports Net. Welcome to the jungle.
Tomorrow night, get the review on the Pocono 500. Then it's highlights of the Rally Argentina and an encore presentation of the Canadian Grand Prix. That's NASCAR Inside Winston Cup Racing at 7 Eastern, FIA World Rally Championships at 8, and the Canadian Grand Prix at 8:30.
Back at Mid-Ohio Sports Car Course in the closing laps of the U.S. Road Racing Classic, there is the race leader, Jack Baldwin, in the Informix, Riley and Scott Judd. Jack is one of the drivers that we spoke to during the course of the weekend to ask them one question. If you could change seats with any other driver in the world, who would it be? Here's what they told us.
Well, I think Ralph Schumacher at Williams is in the right spot right now. They're getting ready. They're on the up. They got the budget behind them. He's an awesome driver, and I'd like to be a part of that one time. If I could change seats with anybody, I'd sure like to take a ride in that black number 3 Dale Earnhart's car.
If I could change seats with any race car driver in the world, would I get to change shoes too? Well, Michael Schumacher. Who wouldn't?
John Morton has seen plenty of racing drivers over the years, and you get the point of changing shoes, meaning could I acquire his talent as well? I think John has a whole lot to be envious of Michael Schumacher about. There's Eric Messley, who has given up the effort to try to refire the car that at one point led the GTO class here.
Must have has the idea he might have made someone mad. He's going to leave the helmet on.
Hey, I tried. That's all you can do. So the race continues. Our class leadership is pretty much cemented now as we get closer to the final lap of this race. Now remember, this is a race on time and not necessarily a number of laps, so the drivers aren't really sure when it's going to end until the flagman waves the checkers. There's the leader in the American GT category, and there is the white flag. The time has come. One more lap of this 2¼ mile circuit. There is the overall race leader, Jack Baldwin. George Robinson, despite a hiccup or two along the way, have taken this race by the neck.
This is the lap that Jack's hearing all the mechanical gremlins back there, thinking something's going to break, because he knows full well that he cannot lose this race as long as the car stays underneath him. Look behind him, though. They're rubbing fenders back there. He's going to be glad he's not back with that set of Porsches that's scooping him out.
Nobody has left. Grassy knolls overlooking Mid-Ohio Sports Car Course. We rapidly approach the checkered flag. Jack Baldwin spent a long career in production-based sports cars, GTU and GTO cars, did a lot of Trans Am racing, much of it for Chevrolet. He's been in the International Race of Champions. And here he finds himself in the featured sports racer category in the new Grand American Road Racing Championship. Final corners for Jack Baldwin, for whom it will be his second victory in the 2000 season. For his teammate and car owner, George Robinson, it will be his first, having missed out on the win in Phoenix. Fist in the air, flag waving, victory to Robinson and Baldwin. Here comes our GTU winner, Darren Law, sharing with Mike Fitzgerald. And our Sports Racer 2 winners, Larry Oberto and Ryan Hampton. Here's a look at the final results. Now, I'm the guy who said that the GTO and GTU cars would make their way toward the top 10. They did not. First through 12, all Sports Racer and Sports Racer 2 category cars. Our leading GT class finisher, Mike Fitzgerald and Darren Law, in 13th in their GTU Porsche. Our American GT winners, Craig Conway and Doug Goad, in a Chevy Camaro, both of those cars beating the GTO class winners, David Lacey and Greg Wilkins, in their Porsche 911 Turbo. All in all, very little attrition on the day. Most of the 41 cars that started the race reached the finish line. We saw a total of 6 caution flags for 26 laps. That certainly affected the pit strategy of the teams involved. Congratulations to our overall winners, Baldwin and Robinson. Let's get down to victory lane.
And there was a great battle in the sports racer category out there. Jack Baldwin gets congratulated by EFR. Jack, what a drive this afternoon, mate.
Man, I'm going to tell you, I cannot thank George Robinson and this Robinson Racing team for just, you know, coming together, working hard, and we had a good race car today. We had a good one, and we worked hard, a little strategy, you know. We had a race for it today. You know, we were thinking they were going to make another stop and, you know, win it that way, but hey, we ran hard today, and it was fun.
Like you used all your experience there, Jack, though, to box EFR in and get him by when you're passing up Ferrari.
Well, yeah, you know, Elliott's a super driver, and we were having a good time out there whipping through traffic, and I knew I needed to do something. It wasn't going to happen by itself, and you know, I kept looking and looking and looking, and boy, he went left and I went right, and it turned out to be the right thing. So,
great job today.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Thank you, Jack, and you, Calvin. Great victory for Robinson Racing. High fives and hugs all around. With 5 races now complete of 9 in this inaugural season of the Grand American Road Racing Championship, here's how the Drivers' Championship picture looks. Just 5 points separate James Weaver from Jack Baldwin, followed by EFR Didier Tays and the Kelleners SCHIATT team. In the car owners' point standings, high-profile series that is unique to the Grand Am, see that the Robinson Informix team leads the way. And that one will go right down to the final race of the season, with much interest when the time comes to hand out the checks at season end. Congratulations to our Sports Racer 2 category winners, Larry Oberto and Ryan Hampton, and our surprise GTO winners, David Lacey and Greg Wilkins. We'll hear from everyone when we return.
Grand American Road Racing. Sports car racing at some of the most storied road courses and racetracks in North America. On June 28th, Grand American Road Racing will bring the tradition, prestige, and style of sports car racing to Daytona International Speedway. This week, enjoy a lifestyle like no other. Call Daytona International Speedway at 904-253-RACE for ticket information.
They're problem officers. You actually bought a Pacer. A Pacer. The single most butt-ugly car ever built. And you're asking me if there's a problem? No. No problem. No problem at all.
Speed Vision Network. No Pacers, no Gremlins, no Yugos.
Grand American Road Racing from Mid-Ohio has been brought to you by Acura. Cars are our passion. Engineering is our art. And by Informix Software, your new way to web. Back at Mid-Ohio, congratulations to our GTU class winners, Darren Law and Mike Fitzgerald. Down in Victory Lane, Calvin Fish is standing by to talk with the man who drove that Porsche so hard, Darren Law.
The winner in GTU was the G&W Motorsports entry driven by Mike Fitzgerald and Darren Law. You had a lot of fun out there this afternoon, mate.
Yeah, I had a great time. We had a great run. We need to thank G&W. They prepared the car beautifully, and Cal4 and Pure Image did a great job, and they help us make this thing happen.
The one problem is, though, Mike has that points lead, and you guys keep teaming up together. You can't catch him.
There's nothing I can do. He's like 16 ahead of me, and if we're always driving together, he's got it. He's got me covered.
Good problem to have, though, right?
Yeah, it's a good thing. Thanks.
Congratulations to Darren Law. He and Mike Fitzgerald are teammates, but they haven't been all season long, and as a result, Fitzgerald now leads Law by 16 points for the GTU Drivers' Championship. Now let's meet our SR2 winners with John Bizignano.
Larry, what a great first stint you put in the car. A long time in the car, great lead you built up.
Thank you. It was, these guys work so hard. They've been here till 11 to 12 o'clock every night fighting this alternator belt, and everything stayed together, and we just had to win. I mean, there's no way we could not bring this home for them.
Ryan Hampton, a big responsibility to get such a lead. You held on beautifully with it.
Well, no, Larry made it so easy for me. I mean, he's a tremendous driver. All I had to do was basically go around and turn laps, and he just did. My hat's off to the crew. They did a hell of a job this weekend, literally. I mean, they were out here just hours on end trying to get this problem fixed. It looks like they got it solved, so my hat's off to the crew. They did a wonderful job this weekend, and Larry did a wonderful job. I had an easy job of just driving the thing home, really.
Alternator belts, no problems whatsoever, guys.
All right, thanks, Biz. Here's a look at the SR2 standings. Because Larry Oberto and Ryan Hampton have been teammates all year long, they are now tied for the category lead in the Drivers' Championship. Now here's Calvin Fish.
Okay, well, a bit of a surprise in the GTO division, but you really had a strategy out there this afternoon. Greg Wilkins, great job today.
Well, thanks very much. We didn't have the fastest car during the day, but, you know, we had a good strategy. The strategy was to get to the end, and the other guys kept falling off. Guys didn't tell me we were in first place until I came in.
A nice surprise.
It's a great surprise.
Well done. Great job today.
Thanks very much.
Well done indeed. And their victory today puts Greg Wilkins and David Lacey into the top 5 in the GTO drivers standings, led by the Mustang duo of Terry Borchler and Ron Johnson, despite seeing the end of their 3-race winning streak here at Mid-Ohio. Back down to Victory Lane and John Bizignano.
Craig Conway, another great run for the 09 car.
Yeah, we were a little bit lucky, but you take the luck when you can get it. I blew a tire right as the caution came out, so we came in and got a tire on that deal. Doug blew a tire on the last lap, just before the checker. So for once, the luck went our way. Great team, great engines from wheel to wheel. Great to win it again.
What did you think when you saw that tire going down, Doug, or felt that tire going down?
Well, for the last 45 minutes, we didn't have any power steering, so I really didn't care. I knew I was only about a lap or 2 turns away from the end, and the other car in the class was quite a ways behind, so it was just a matter of creeping away. The guys did a fantastic job with the pit stops. The car ran great. The engine was fantastic, but we've got to do something about this power steering business because I'm getting too old for this. My shoulders are killing me.
It's called push-ups, mate.
All right, thanks, John. Here's a look at the American GT drivers' standings. Andy McNeil and Doug Mills lead the way over the men you just heard from, Greg Conway and Doug Goad. In the GT category team owners' standings, G&W Motorsports with their GTU Porsches lead the way over the Spirit of Daytona crew in American GT. Dorsey Schroeder, final thoughts on our events here at Mid-Ohio?
Well, I'll tell you, with only 5 races under their belt, they're doing a good job. I see a nice field of cars starting to develop. That SR2 class is pretty neat looking. I think there'll be more cars as they go on through the year.
No question about it. The more, the merrier. Surprise winners in GTO today. Not so surprising up front. At the head of the sports racer category.